Susan Cingari here from Bare-Knuckle News, where no one beats us to the punch. And each week we bring you a unique interview from the world of bare-knuckle boxing. So help it go out. Like this video, share, and subscribe. Coming up, my riveting interview with Quentin the Hero Henry, who says he is more than ready to fight Chris Leben at KnuckleMania on February 5th.
Oh yeah, if you're not scared to fight me, you ain't got a pulse. That's all I can say.
Hey there, combat sports fans. Susan Cingari here from Bare-Knuckle News. And look who I have in the house today, the one and only Quentin Henry, who has a big fight coming up February 5th at KnuckleMania against Chris Leben. How are you today, Quentin?
Doing all right. Just going on about my day. We had the stomach bug hit our house this weekend, and so I've been Mr. Mom all weekend because Mama was down, and sister was down, and brother was down. So, but I'm doing good, doing pretty good. About to go get me a run in.
How is your training camp going?
It's going good. We never really stopped training camp from the last one, so everything just stayed in the same routine. We just didn't have any stops or hiccups in it, so it just continued to build on where we were when we left off.
Have you changed your training camp up at all, specifically for fighting Leben?
No, I mean, not terribly, really. I haven't changed anything up that's like my typical training, when I do my training outside of boxing or specific training with boxing. I mean, obviously, you're going to game plan for everybody depending on their style and stuff. I mean, he is a southpaw, so, you bring in more southpaws and start looking at different attacks and angles from that. But I mean, as far as the regular schedule and, what I'm doing, there's nothing really, out of the norm.
Speaking of the southpaw, let's talk a little bit about that. Is that an advantage you can use? Is that a hole in the game for you? I fight left-handed and right-handed, so I can fight southpaw myself. I don't have a problem fighting. There's a lot of people that do have issues with fighting southpaws, because they're not used to it. And like even southpaws, a lot of times have a problem with fighting a southpaw. But I've had fights in the past where I'd fought southpaw just because the other guy was a southpaw to throw him off. So, for some guys that throws them off. For me, I feel like it simplifies things really. So, I'm really looking forward to it. All right, so Quentin, Leben defeated Baseman from the clinch. Do you think he will try to fight on the inside then, and how will you counter that?
I 100% expect him to try and fight from the inside. I really feel like that's where he feels like his strength is. I've taken into consideration the fact that he's going to be trying to get a hold of me and get me against the ring. But, that all comes down to footwork. If I'm cutting angles and just not standing right in front of him, he'll never be able to clinch me up. And, I'm a pretty thick fella. He might grab a hold of me and decide that really wasn't a good idea, so, we'll just have to see.
Yeah, you certainly are a power puncher. How do you pick your shots?
It's almost like a superpower, there's some people that see a shot and have to think about it and throw it, but I see it and it just happens, so it just comes from years of practice and recognizing when the opening is going to be there. And, timing is really the biggest deal. I don't feel like I probably hit any harder than a lot of other guys, but I hit more accurately than they do. And I think that really makes the biggest difference.
I think it really does make a big difference. One of the things I want you to explain to some of our new fight fans, because, of course, boxing without gloves is very strategic, is how important it is to be accurate and strategic in the bare-knuckle game.
I mean, that's everything. I mean, you throw one bad punch and your hand is broken. You hit somebody on top of the head or, even hitting them in the orbital and stuff. I've broken my hands in MMA, and that was when they were wrapped with a glove on. So, it's super important because one bad punch and you're pretty much down one fight, or down one hand, and you're only fighting with one left. So, and that separates a lot of the guys. There's a lot of boxers that are swapping over to MMA. To bare knuckle boxing, and they're not typically, they've got great technique and they're fast, but they're not the most accurate, and they're just taking a lot of shots in wrong spots, and they're going to end up having a short career over that.
Do you respect Chris Leben as a fighter? Absolutely. He's one of the original guys. Everybody knows that. I was a huge fan of his. I respect him. I feel like he was one of the first fighters that you actually knew. He was pretty real about, anything going on with his life or what was going on, you could relate to him type of deal. So, I like him. I've always followed him and, my whole career. So, it's pretty cool getting to fight him, I think.
If I was in your situation, I would be nervous. So I have to ask you, are you nervous to fight Chris Leben?
Yeah, but that's why you do it. I'm nervous to fight everybody. If you try and say that you're not scared to go fight another grown man that's trained to fight, it's a dangerous thing that you're doing. And if you say that you're not scared, you're lying. I think that's the difference between me and other people is I'll admit that I'm scared, but it's what I'm going to do in spite of it. And if you can't acknowledge that fear, then you can't deal with it. So, it's just the same reason people go skydiving. If skydiving didn't scare you, people wouldn't do it. So it's just I'm scared to death, and that's what makes it so awesome. That's why it's going to be the best one I've ever had. So it's just I'm like a little school kid.
Good for you. I wanted to ask you as well, your last fight was amazing. Can you break that down for our fans?
Last fight, 25 seconds. Jason Fan he's a tough guy. He's had a lot of fights. He's never, doesn't have a really great record, but he does come to fight, and that I can say that the dude did come at me. So, but yeah, I landed a quick jab right off the bat, and I think that kind of hurt him. And then I landed like a one to the body, two over the top to the eye. And then he came in, rushed me, and then I clipped him with a little check hook jab, and that was pretty much lights out. It was a short night. Quick paycheck.
What happened at weigh-ins with him? There's a story here.
Yeah, we did the weigh-ins and all, and we were like, doing the face-off thing. And then after that, I shook hands. I was like, all right, man, good luck. And then when I went to walk off, he was like, hey, man. And he handed me these coins, and they were like dollar pieces. And he said, these are for the boatmen. For like the River of Styx in Greek mythology, you got to pay the boatmen. You put the coins on their eyes, type of deal. So, that was my decision. I decided I put them right in my sock, and right before the fight. And after I dropped him, I cashed them for him, tossed them back to him. So he needed them more than I did.
Let's talk about your first fight, because you showed such heart and determination. It looks like you also injured yourself as well in the first round.
Yeah, I thought I had blown my knee out, but he just knocked me down. When he hit me, it just buckled me and like clipped my leg, but I didn't realize he had hit me. So in my mind, I just my knee just buckled. And, but then I got up and I started moving it around, and bounced a couple times. I'm like, okay, he just knocked me out. I'm like, all right, I better do something. So, yeah, no, the knee was fine, thank God. But yeah, at the time it was like, I just knew I blew my whole knee out, and I didn't understand why. It was just something turning, but it was because Bubba punched me in the head, just, and clipped my knee, but I recovered. My head recovers faster than my knee would have.
Since you have had 2 fights in bare-knuckle, how are you different as the bare-knuckle fighter we saw first?
The first fight I took on really short notice. I hadn't even been training any stand-up for like the past year. I had just been coaching at my jiu-jitsu school. And then, so I kind of was just relying on a lot of instinct. I had 3 weeks to get ready, and I wasn't in really good shape, and then after that, it turned into where I had plenty of time to train. It's more time than I ever thought I'd ever have to train with the corona and stuff. So, that was the biggest transition, was just, there's a lot of, like people put that picture of me up from that first one and then from my last fight, and they're like, oh, the transition, but if you would have taken a picture of me from my fight before that, before I retired, and a picture of me now, I look the same. So,
but that was like the worst I've ever been in shape wise, so I've just gotten back to what I know how to do. And now that I'm a little older, a little more mature, my schedule's a little better, and I've just got everything ironed out, so that I can, really focus on fighting and training.
Does having fights close together help you momentum wise?
I think so. I'm one of those guys that, the ring rust thing, I don't like that, because it is the only way to get used to that, dealing with that fear or that, pressure of going in there on the stage is to just keep exposing yourself to it. So the longer you go without that sense of push and competition, the harder it is to do it again, so I just did it like 3 weeks ago. So like, I'm ready, it's not that big of a deal to me.
Before we go today, Quentin, is there anything else you'd like to add? And please give us your social media handles.
I'm on Instagram at Hero Henry, Facebook, Quentin the Hero Henry. I don't have a Twitter. I only had like 400 followers, and it confuses me, but it is what it is. And then my sponsors are Armed Forces Roofing Company. They sponsor me. Be-Lit Organics. They sponsor me. They're out of Denver. They sent me this care package, right, with all this organic bee stuff, and it's like bee wax and this balm, and it's like hand sanitizer and stuff. It's like man-scented stuff. What? It's pretty good. And then I've got Traxler Chiropractic is a big sponsor. And man, I know I'm forgetting people. People need to go check out my merch shop. Okay, I got a merch shop with my shirts, and got a whole line of different shirts on there. It's on Teespring. If you check out my Instagram, it's on there. Go Combat Agency, my management company, for hooking me up. And then I'm going to tag everybody that I probably forgot, but I know those are my main couple guys. So, but man, I'm excited to do this. I know that people are making it a huge deal, and and it is a big deal, but I'm just happy to get to do it, so I'm not exactly, living or dying whether or not I ever become, something, and I think that's the biggest difference for me, is I feel like I don't have anything to lose. I've already gained everything I need in life, and this is just extra, so getting to fight Chris Leben, getting to fight for a belt, getting to be, ranked extra or whatever in the world, that's all good. I like it, but that's not, what I hang my life up on. So, it's, I'm just having fun out here, and I'm gonna keep doing it until it's not fun anymore.
All right, Quentin the Hero Henry, we really look forward to seeing you fight Chris Leben at KnuckleMania on February 5th. I will be up there, buddy. Before we go today, I want to thank all the kind folks at Go Combat Agency for setting up this interview. We will be there February 5th at KnuckleMania, bringing you all the beautiful, bloody action. Hey, do a girl a favor. Share this video, like it, and subscribe. I'm Susan Cingari. And remember, no one beats us to the punch.